Folks, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage back. Sorry, you know what? That was the first day that I haven't uploaded a video in January, and this day it's going to be very late in the day. I almost missed this one, but I was on a streak, but work has been very busy. It got to the weekend. I was pretty strapped for time. I only had so much time to spend with my boys, and I chose to do that, so I ran out of time to record. I'm back at it. It's going to be another very busy week for me at work, but I will be doing my best to keep the content flowing to you all. Some of you may be wondering where the campaign is for Total War Warhammer 3, so just real quickly I'll say I had issues with crashes and a few other things. I'm trying to work through it. I'll get back to those videos as quickly as I can. Until then, I do have these battles ready and I want to check them out. This one is actually a sub-commander's battle in Rome 2, and I'm excited to bring you all this one. And it's where, and we've done this in Warhammer before, where basically like one player controls kind of your infantry corps or missiles, and then another one does, you know, the cavalry. So in this case, it looks like Royal Scythia is the cavalry, and then it looks like we've got the Nervii here as an infantry line, and then we've got the is this Syracuse? Yeah, Syracuse, I think. Pretty sure it's Syracuse. I don't know why I recognize that. Bringing up the skirmishing. Now, they also have some infantry here, so there must be some rule on kind of how they pick their army in order to balance things right. So I'm sure Sol Invictus has put together some rules for this, and that's what they're playing by. Let's go check out the other side. On the other side, it looks like we have Massilia bringing the cavalry. Or, no, that's not Massilia. This is Chimeria. My bad. So Chimeria's got the cavalry here, and there's going to be a few steppe horse archers, some steppe lancers. Oh my gosh, even more steppe horse archers. Dang, that is 7 steppe horse archers. And then they have a noble horse archer general. Dang, that is going to be absolutely wild. And it looks like the Seleucids are bringing up the kind of skirmish / light infantry corps kind of stuff here. Shield bearer general, which is definitely no light infantry. That's a heavy hitting hoplite unit. And then there's a couple of Eastern spears protecting some Persian light archers. And again, I'm assuming that they've split this up in such a way to where there's like so much money for the skirmishing, so much for infantry. That'd be my guess, is the way they've set it up. There's some Thurio spears, javelin men, extra units sitting around, and then it looks like the Arverni are going to be pulling up the heavy hitting piece here. They've got a noble horse general, some Galatian legionaries, and then let's take a look at the other troops here. Galatian swords. Yeah, my guess is that each player has like a very specific fund limit, and they each play a certain role in the army. Because you'll notice that there's not just like a ton of really elite units here. And again, I think it's because they have fairly limited funding with which to pick their stuff. So yeah, this army over here had the fierce swords and a Celtic warrior and an Oathsworn general. And then we mentioned the thorax hoplites here, which is a pretty decent unit, kind of a mid-tier hoplite. There's Thurio spears, and then some mercenary Etruscan hoplites here as well. So let's check this battle out. So what's neat about the sub-commanders replays is that the players can focus more on micromanagement in their specific area. So if you're running cavalry, your only job is to be the cavalry for the team. Now, in some ways that makes things easier, like that you're focused on a single thing, but in some ways it kind of makes things tricky. So like, for instance, running 2 flanks of cavalry simultaneously is going to take quite a bit of attention, especially if you're going to end up doing it effectively. Now, the Cimmerians have extremely good numbers on their sides here. There's 4 of them to 2, but again, with some mistakes, you can end up in trouble quickly. And this is really, honestly, going to be a test of how well they can manage their troops. There's a lot of slingers over here, so they got to be careful of that as well for Syracuse. Yeah, Chimeria definitely has a massive mobile skirmishing advantage, but look, so far, I mean, pretty darn good job by these Amazonian riders. They got some kills here. Pushing them back, you can see the dead horses here. And I'm pretty sure it's not Amazonian riders. So some nice skirmishing there from Scythia to get things started. Let's kind of see, you know, up front, there's 4 units of slingers for Syracuse up against only a couple of Persian light archers, like 3 in total. I mean, Syracuse is going to hold the edge there, but I mean, there's so many horse archers that really the total skirmishing outlook is better for the red team. I'm going to call them the red team, the one that has the red outlines on their banners, the yellow and blue outlines. I'll just call them the blue team. Yeah, there we go. A lot of skirmishing going on right now between the Amazonian riders. They took some hits there. Dropped a couple. So the Nervii battle line is gonna be pretty good. I mean, Fierce Swords lack armor and defense, but they hit really hard on the charge, and they can do some solid damage. This Celtic Warrior is going to lead the way. It looks like they just want to get in and charge, which is interesting because they do have an advantage with their slingers. I think they're just worried about how long they're going to have to sit around contending with these horse archers, and I don't think they want to get stuck with that contention. Look at this step armored lancer here. It's going to get shot up by those horse archers if it doesn't get moving. Here comes the Nervii, so they're going to start colliding with the line here. These hoplites, though, are going to actually be a bit of a tough target for the Fierce Swords. They'll do really well in the charge. They could potentially win, but remember that you could have some morale things playing a role here. Oh, that Thurio Spear is going to get leveled by that step-armored Lancer. It wasn't braced. They got flattened. That was absolutely beautiful charge there. Let's keep an eye out here. So the Cimmerian's still heavily harassing this core. But nice job by Syracuse, like, kind of staying at home and protecting all these skirmishers. So, good job so far. This infantry line clash, so far it's looking pretty good for the Nervii. That was some very nice support from the Scythian cavalry. Here comes a Galatian legionary trying to reinforce there, but the Nervii are collapsing the front line over here. We'll just see how this goes. Got these javelin and putting some shots over here. Comes a naked sword, going to come in and charge, but they're going to be in a really bad place in life. Those lancers from Scythia just hosed that Thurio spear. I loved that. That was one of the best charges I've seen in a long time. Oh man, it was good. Those Oathsworn just got a nice toss there off on that shield bearer. Yeah, this shield bearer is not going to be loving life up against that Oathsworn. I do like these javelins, though, into the side of that Oathsworn. Those Thurio spears, obviously scared of those lancers with good reason. But that's a juicy target there, those Oathsworn, if you can keep some fire on their flank, but it's going to be difficult to do. Those lancers are running amok. This one's got 114 kills and climbing. Don't underestimate shock cavalry into an unbraced unit. Yeah, the Nervii are rolling. However, they're starting to slow down a little here. They're getting into these tougher units, the Galatian Legionaries and Galatian Swords, and the Nervii are starting to feel the heat. That Step Lancer also got a nice rear charge there into the Fierce Swords. The Cimmerian Horse Archers are still alive, and they are delivering some pain. Those Step Lancers, they are getting chewed up by the Scythian Royal Horse, but they're paying a price as they get shot by all the Horse Archers. That Thurio Spear, obviously trying to get some javelins in here, and they've gotten some kills on those Step Lancers. The slingers remain safe. And over here, look at this. Nice job on this flank. Those horse archers all getting together, and they're actually fighting back the Cimmerian horse archers on the other side. This Step Lancer going to town here. It just crossed 100 kills as well. I guess the other one got taken out of play. No, here it is. Headed back to the other side of the battle. Just wheeling right on into the noble horse archers. Those noble horse archers have some good armor. It'll help them a little, but they're going to take some damage from that charge. Here comes the heavy horse. The heavy horse shouldn't have any problem shutting down those step-armored lancers, especially when it's not being charged. Let's take a look at the infantry fight. Again, the Nervii started off strong, but they kind of fizzled because, again, those Fierce Swords just don't really have the armor and the defense to stick around in a fight. Brutal on the charge, but squishy afterwards. So the other side, the red team here, is going to come out on top in terms of the infantry fight, at least so far. There's more infantry left. There's Thurio Spears, some Etruscan Hoplites, Thorax Hoplites. We've got this mercenary Etruscan running around up here. It's actually really overextended, so this is probably not a good call. There is one other unit up here, the Nervii Oathsworn, that's still fighting away, but you don't want to get your units cut off like this. However, I can understand why he kind of is alone, and it's because the other ones don't want to give up protecting these slingers. But these Cimmerian horse archers are going to be pretty relentless in their pursuit of getting to these slingers. They are shooting right into the shield of these hoplites. That is going to waste a lot of ammo. They probably would want to be looking for an angle where they can get either to the slingers or hitting the soft backside of these targets. It takes some effort to do, and sometimes it's not possible, but when it is, you definitely need to get those shots into the back of a unit or into the non-shielded sides. So see, like right there, that was shots into the non-shielded side. Those were very effective shots. Now they're going into the shield, so good repositioning here by Syracuse to try and keep their shield in the right position. Let's see what the red team's got left. They got a heavy horse, fair bit of infantry. They're gonna possibly win that back there. I mean, I don't know. That's an Amazonian rider against. I mean, the morale of those spearmen probably won't hold, although they probably could technically win that fight. These Amazonian riders are putting in some work on that noble horse, and it's paying dividends. What I'm worried about is that the Cimmerians are going to run out of horse archer ammo before they can kill enough of these hoplites. That's very possible, but this fight's fairly close. It shows it in favor of the blue team here, and I can believe that based on what I'm seeing on the screen. But you never know with these kind of things. Let's see what's left. The shield bearer got through that with most of its men. Those Cimmerian horse archers are feeling some heat now from those slingers. Again, I'm not sure if they're out of ammunition. We'll see if they're... No, their daggers are not out, so that's kind of interesting. They came up here in front of those slingers and just ended up getting slaughtered. The noble horse archer's in trouble. So let's see what they've got left. A mercenary Etruscan, a thorax hoplite, and a thurial spear. The mercenary Etruscans up here outnumbered, getting charged into an oblivion. I mean, the infantry fight's pretty close. It's going to depend on what those slingers can do. The Cimmerian steppe horse archers are just bulldozing into the slingers, and they've almost gotten this one to rout. They don't want to throw away all their... Well, they've got more mobility out here, so I wouldn't say they're throwing things away, but they also have to be careful of that Scythian royal horse. Doesn't have a lot of units left. Nice job picking at it. This is going to be a pretty tight finish. I'm actually kind of starting to wonder if the red team might actually have an edge here. Those shield bearers are going to be much better than the Etruscan hoplites. Should be quite a bit better than the thorax hoplites. So the thorax hoplites have pretty good damage, all things considered. But there's only a few legionaries and swords left, so yeah, it's probably pretty close. I like how the red team's taking their time to spin the rest of this ammunition. They're getting rear shots into that thurial spear right now, too. That was very effective. So well done. Need to keep shooting units in the back. Just keep forcing units to reposition, shoot them in the back. This is a nice use of these slingers till late in the game. Going after those noble horse archers. Probably a little bit of friendly fire on the Scythian royal horse, though. Good job disrupting the slingers there. Oh, be careful with that noble horse. That noble horse. Oh, it's going to get thrown in against the hoplites. I don't understand that. Maybe because they expected these horse archers to get out here. I don't think they should have thrown that noble horse in there. It should have swung around to pressure these. It could have finished the Scythian royal horse and then let the horse archers finish up the slingers while the infantry fight gets underway. But see, those Galatian swords almost immediately died because they got in there against way too many hoplites. They had battle rhythm going. That's going to get a little bit ugly. I feel like the blue team is picking up some advantage at the moment. Yeah. And then the attack came too close to those thurial spears. So the blue team is definitely, I think, gaining some advantage here. This is a nice engagement, though. Here, those shield bearers are going to get back here and absolutely crump this Etruscan hoplite. So that's a nice engagement. See what happens. These Galatian legionaries are way out of position now. They're going to get caught by the thorax hoplites. Bonus versus cavalry and elephants. Interesting. Oh, nice job there. Look at that. Crushed that mercenary Etruscan. It's actually saying that the red team has a slight advantage now. Let's see whether we believe that or not. I mean, the thorax hoplites are not a great match against the shield bearers. They do have more numbers. There's not much else left, so I mean, it is very possible the red team takes this one home. It's going to end up being a tight battle regardless. Is that a... Yeah, it comes a second wind. Now that is a really good play on the shield bearers because second wind is going to restore the stamina. And that makes a huge difference in a unit's fighting effectiveness. And late in a battle where everything else is exhausted, it pays to have a fresh unit. Well, especially in this case because the thorax hoplites are not exhausted. So they would be fighting at pretty peak effectiveness. So that was a good play there on the shield bearers. And I like how he keeps the shield bearers away from the biggest unit for as long as he can. He's kind of letting it thrash these weaker units, trying to get some morale damage here in the rear charge. That's going to be the end of those steppe horse archers, but that rear charge will do some morale damage. The squares are smart because the squares make morale last a little longer. Yeah, the red team's going to wrap this one up. The Thorax Hoplites are going to be taking too much morale damage, I think. The Shield Bears have a pretty decent charge, honestly, too. Yeah, I mean, for a Hoplite, it's actually a really good charge. So we're going to see the Thorax Hoplites reform. They don't want to be surrounded, but there's really no way they can stop it at this point. They're going to just have to fight. There's no two ways around it here. Nice job there, though. Probably going to kill some of those heavy horsemen. They have the raised banner, which is going to help morale for now. Here comes the charge of the shield bearers. Yeesh. Yeah, those shield bearers are going to have a time with those Thorax Hoplites. And then there's the surround, so we're going to end up with the potential morale hits here. The Hoplite wall is engaged, which is going to give extra melee defense and shield strength. So this fight's going to go on for a while, probably, as those Thorax Hoplites. You can see their melee defense there all the way up at 79. But these shield bearers are up at 45 attack now. Then there comes a second wind on the Thuriel Spears, which is going to help them fight a little better. It looks like they're going to cycle charge. I think that's a good choice, because the shield bearers can hold their own in that for now. This unit does not want to get cycle charged, so it starts to pull away. Either that, or it's possible that just that the Hoplite wall does weird things to a unit's formation, so they might be reforming due to that. Yeah, this one, the shield bearers are going to finish this one. These guys don't have great weapon damage, but they have a ton of armor, and like I said, their charge is pretty good. And these Thorax Hoplites, boy, they're taking it on the chin on that charge. That's rough. You can see how much damage it did right there. Then the Thorax Hoplites got another second wind. Gonna be a little too late here to save them, but a valiant effort by both sides here. The red team's gonna take the victory home on this one, folks. So an excellent sub-commanders matchup here, and well played by all involved, giving us a battle that came pretty close down to the wire here. So we're getting spoiled with some of these really nice replays recently. Let's take a look at each player's army here and kind of take a look at what was effective for them and what was not. So Sol was controlling the Scythians here, and I like that play. So the Scythian Royal Horse did well. These Step Armored Lancers, this one, it was either this one or this one, that charge into the Thuriel Spears was just like chef kiss good. Like that, when Thurios, and a lot of people don't remember this, but when a unit is on fire at will, so there's tons of javelins in Rome too, and they're very good when they get thrown into cavalry, but something to remember is that when a unit is on fire at will, they are not braced. They have to be off of fire at will in order to brace. And shock cavalry coming into a unit like Thuriel Spears, which is a little bit less armor than some of those big ones, boy, they will get crushed. And that is exactly what happened on that charge. Is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So Sol did a nice job with his cavalry. King here with the Nervii. I think that King did what he could do, which was get in, charge, and do as much damage as you could. And honestly, there's a pretty good return on investment on most of those fierce swords because they're not a real expensive unit. Did get a lot of damage done in the end. It was not quite enough to pull his team to victory, but it was, I think, a very valiant effort. Then Arminius here, or Arminius, sorry, Arminius coming in with the Syracuse army with the skirmishers. I mean, those slingers were alive till late in the game, so that was well done. The Thorax Hoplite General was safe till late. A lot of focused effort on keeping these slingers safe, so I think that was, again, a valiant effort on his part by Arminius. Then we have Saucian here, or whatever. Rolling the Seleucids, that shield bearer ended up kind of being an MVP. It did a great job, ended up surviving an engagement with the Nervii Oathsworn. So very well done. Pretty good performance out of that Thurios Spear as well. And then if we go look at Galatia here, the Noble Horse ended up with a solid performance. The Galatian Legionaries had a decent performance. So some good work out of some of those units. And then Hannibal Barca here, love that namesake. Rolling with Chimeria, that was a brutal number of horse archers. And it paid off, I think, in the end. It caused a lot of trouble for the enemy. So some very powerful cavalry there. So well played to all the players. Again, this was fun. If y'all liked it, if you want to see some more of this sub-commanders type stuff in the future, let me know. Get down in the comments. Again, thank you to Sol for sending this one over. If you want to check out his channel, I do have a link in the description, so make sure you go check it out. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now. I'll see you soon.